It's game over for landlords, or is it? My name is Katie Wilson and I've been in property now for coming up for 7 years. And in that time, I have built a substantial property portfolio and established a national house buying company. I've now bought and sold hundreds of properties of all different types all over the UK. And I work with thousands of investors all over the world. I live and breathe property. Now, before we go through the impossible challenges faced by landlords right now, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you're thinking about becoming a landlord, you need to be aware of the massive changes that the government have done recently and the changes that they're planning to introduce over the coming months and years, which are completely killing off landlords. Then I'm going to share some of the things that you can do to navigate around those problems. Because as I say, the rich people are just getting richer. So follow what they're doing. They're buying up property right now. So what do you need to do? Exactly the same. The savvy landlords are investing and becoming very wealthy in this climate. Now, let's go into the first reason why landlords are screwed in 2023. Tax changes. Section 24 to be specific. Now, I've been talking about Section 24 for years, but people are only just realising it now that they're seeing it on their tax returns. And they're saying, oh my God, what the fuck is this? I tell you what Section 24 is. Section 24 is when you have to pay tax, not on the profit, but the whole rent. Now, it would be fair and reasonable for the government to tax you on your profits, right? If you make a profit, you get taxed. But what they're doing to landlords is they're taxing landlords on the whole rent. So let me give you an example. You're renting out a property for £1,000 a month and you put the mortgage payments, they're £500 a month. That means your profit is only £500 a month. Minimum 1,000 minus your mortgage payments is your gross profit. Now you're going to pay tax on what? Your profit? No, not anymore. With Section 24, you're going to pay tax on the whole rent. You can't claim back the mortgage payments as tax deductible. So the small rent that you were making is now going to the government. That is horrible. That is brutal. But it's coming into full effect and people are only just realising it now. The second thing is tenants' rights. If you're a landlord and you've got 3, 4, 5, 6 houses and you're renting them out and the tenant stops paying rent, in my opinion, you should be able to evict them easily. But the government are changing that legislation. In fact, they've done it already. They're going to be scrapping Section 21. Now, if you've got a tenant that's not paying rent, it takes months to get them out. The landlord, has to pay out of pocket for the mortgage payments, the maintenance, the management, whilst the tenant's living rent-free for 6 months? I don't think so. Then it goes to court. This is disastrous. This is what's killing landlords off right now. And the third reason is EPC certificates. So let me explain what this is. EPC certificates are energy performance certificates. And this shows how energy efficient the house is, and the lower the rating, the more energy efficient it is. So if it's running it like an A or a B or even a C, it means it's running reasonably energy efficient. Now, the government have recently said that all houses that are rented out have to be a C rating. Now, you might think, well, so what? No, this is going to screw over a load of landlords. Imagine you're a landlord and you own a house and you own 3, 4 houses and maybe they're all an E rating. Now you've got to bring it down to a C rating. How do you bring it down to a C? Money. You've got to do things like maybe you've got to insulate the roof or add new double glazing in different parts of the house. You've got to do that with what money? If the tenant isn't paying and you've had 6 months of problems and you finally got rid, now you've got another tenant, a lot of landlords are skint. So they're going to have to pay what, £5,000? Are the government going to be paying for that? The next is interest rates. On top of all of this, it couldn't get any worse. Interest rates have just spiked massively, meaning that you've got a property that you were paying £300 or £400 a month for. Now the interest rates have tripled. So not making any profit, unless you're educated. To make things worse, your asset is falling in value. House prices are dropping every single month. Every month they're falling. They're predicted to fall about 10% this year. So landlords are screwed right now in 2023. This is where the opportunity is. because everything I've just said is quite negative. But here's the golden nugget. If you're savvy, educated, you can spot the opportunities in these challenges. So don't buy a house. You shouldn't buy houses right now, okay? You should set up a company, and the company should buy the house. That means you don't own the house, you own the company, and the company owns the houses. Why is this so important? Well, it protects you. Do you know if you have a company, all of the tax stuff I've been talking about, Section 24, doesn't apply to a company. Buy properties through companies. Then you go and buy a house, you're going to be doing a personal guarantor to the company so that you'll be able to get the mortgage. Find a rundown house, buy them, but not with any of your own money. Do you think that Lloyds Bank use their own money? No. Whose money do they use? Your money. We put money in the banks. They don't keep it in the bank locked away in a safe, they invest it. So what should you do? Exactly the same thing. You should be using other people's money and buying properties with bad EPC ratings, buying rundown houses. The way you're going to push up the value of the properties, you're going to fix it, insulate it, you're going to make it nice, push up the value, and then you can rent it out nicely. And that's what they're doing. You should do what they're doing. The tenant eviction bans, I mean, listen, there's many ways around the tenant eviction bans, but the key is to getting savvy and getting educated, learning all the different strategies in property that can help you maximise your returns and reduce the challenges and spot the opportunities. Now, house prices are falling. Observe the masses, do the opposite. You need to be strategically buying cheap now while everyone's scared, pushing the value up, renting properties out the right way, owning through a company. And I'll tell you something, you always got to follow the money. So watch what the rich are doing and do exactly the same. I think now is a terrible time. I think it's a crisis. I think we've got a massive shortage of houses, okay? But if you can maneuver your way through, you can get rich as a property investor, a property owner, and a property entrepreneur in 2023. I'd love to know your thoughts though. If you can see opportunities, I want you to comment below. We've come to the end of the video. I hope I've inspired you to get into property and why now is the best time ever to get started. In the description below, there is a link to my website where you can learn more about property investing. And be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. I've been Katie Wilson, and I hope to meet you in person very, very soon.